A few years back, I had this brilliant idea that I should get my husband the perfect gift. And it was right around the time that the Kindle Fires had come out. And so I was so impressed with myself because I said, I'm going to get him the latest gadget. It is going to be the perfect gift because both he and I are book lovers. But he's the one who has books all over the living room, all over the bedroom. We have books everywhere. So I thought I was going to correct and do two things with one gift. I was going to clean up my house and I was going to make my husband happy. And so I went about my business and I just said, let me do my research. Let me find, this perfect Kindle Fire. It's going to be the perfect gadget. He's going to be so impressed. So I did my shopping. I found it. I bought it. I even had it specially gift wrapped just for him. And I'm an Army wife, living Army life. And so it was during a time that he was in one location on assignment and me and the kids were in another place. So it was a few months later that I actually went to visit him. And when I walked into the bedroom and looked on the nightstand, what did I see? My beautiful gift still in the box that it came in. He had unwrapped it, but clearly he had not used it. And so as much as I love my husband and as glad as I was to see him, I have to tell you, I felt some kind of way that he had not used my gift. I mean, think about all the time that I took to find it, to get it specially wrapped, to get it sent to him. I mean, I just knew he was going to be in love with this gift. And so to see it sitting there, still on the nightstand, unwrapped and unused, I really, was in my feelings about that. And so as I began to think about what I wanted to share with all of you beautiful, professional, successful women, the thought came to my mind, I wonder, does God feel the same way when he looks at our lives? When you think about everything that went into you being born, when you think about all of the little details that were orchestrated and all the things that had to come together just for your existence, when you think about every unique aspect that God went through to create you, I wonder what God really thinks when he looks at the gift that is unwrapped but unused. And so today, I want to just engage you for a little bit so that I can invite you to use your gift and recognize that you are the gift. You, powerful, successful women, you are the gift. And so often we get caught up with the outer, with the packaging. And if you have young children or if you've been around young children, especially Christmas time, we can go through so many semantics of trying to pick out the right gift and, have it specially wrapped. And have you ever seen a little kid who's sitting there and just playing with the box? They're more impressed with the box than they are the actual gift. And so there are some of you who have been very preoccupied with the outside. You've perhaps been occupied with the outer wrapping, but I just came by to tell you that the goodness, the value is on the inside, that you really are the gift. You really are the unique, valuable thing that God has created for now. And so there are just a few principles that I want to share with you to help you take your life off the shelf and really begin to utilize the gift of you. And so one of the first principles that I want to share with you, and this principle is one that I always come back to, and it is remember who you are. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was celebrating my birthday, and I had the pleasure of sitting with a lifelong educator. I mean, she's 90 years old. She's a civil rights activist. I mean, I consider her a wise sage. And I was just sitting in her living room, and she was asking me all kinds of questions about the work that I do and why I do it. And so I said to her, Dr. Maxine, I was real proud of myself too. I said, to sum it up, the work that I do, I really want women to remember who they really are. And what she said to me, I will never forget, because it just really gave me pause. So what she said is, Melissa, you can't remember if you don't know you've been dismembered. And I said, whoa, that was, like I said, a pause. And I sat there and I contemplated what she was really saying. And because I have worked with women intimately for more than 20 years, I know she is so right. Because every day, literally from the time we come out of the womb and we are wrapped in that white hospital blanket with the blue stripes and everything is all yummy and we're looking all cute and everybody loves the gift of a brand new baby. But as soon as you begin to unwrap and as soon as you begin to live your life, it seems like everything can come at you to dismember you, to help you to forget who you really are. All the things in life that can happen that make you question, am I really valuable at all? And so if you're going to really operate as the powerful gift that you are, you have to remember. And I'm breaking that word apart because member is like, it is being a part of. It has to do with the grouping and the essence of a thing. And is again. And so if you are going to remember, you have to come back together again. Come back to your true essence. And so often, because life happens to us as women, you can forget who you are and think that you are what happened to you. But again, you are not your past. You are not past circumstances. You are not all the things that may have happened, whether you've experienced grief, you've experienced loss. Some of us have experienced divorce. Some of us have experienced heartbreak and disappointment. And if you are not aware, as Dr. Maxine told me, if you are just moving through life and you don't realize that you lost a piece of yourself, and there are many of us that have lost pieces of ourselves along the way, and we have somehow forgotten that we are whole. One of my favorite quotes that I use so often is, there is a part of you that has never been broken and never will be. And even though I'm a therapist, I'm a minister, and so I do the work of healing, too often we focus on the broken pieces and we forget that there is a part of us that has never been broken and never will be. And so I want you to focus on that part of you that is still whole, that is still intact. Because the truth is, that's the part of you that gets you up every morning. That's the part of you that gets you dressed. That's the part of you that brought you to the place that you are in right now. There's a part of you that has never been broken and never will be. And if you can remember her, if you can remember that strength that is inside of you, you can begin to remember the parts of yourself that have been lost along the way. I want to invite you to remember how brilliant you are, how intelligent you are. You are the full package. You have intellect, you are insightful, and you are inspirational. You are the full package. But if you don't remember who you are, then it will be very challenging for you to bring your full self, the full gifting of you to the world. And so remember means, again, that you are not what has happened to you. You are not even what you might be going through right now. Everything that you are going through right now is going to pass. But who you are, God's big idea when you were first created, God's big idea to bring you to this space and to this world for such a time as this is not random. It's not a mistake. You are God's beloved. You are the one that God chose to be right where you are, doing what you're doing with all of your personality, all of your idiosyncrasies, and your whole story is useful. And so don't hold on to the broken pieces. I want to invite you to collect those parts of yourself, collect those parts of your creativity that have been left aside. Sometimes we move through life and through spaces where we've had people speak negatively over us. And sadly, we've believed what they said. But there's a part of you that knows you were meant for more than this. There's a part of you that is sure and convinced that you are an overcomer and that nothing and no one is going to stop you. And so when your mind begins to play tricks on you, or as I like to call it, your committee gets to talking, your committee gets to meeting, and they make decisions about you based on lies, you got to remember that you are a daughter of God. You have to remember that you are not what you've been through. You got to remember that you are not broken, but there is a part of you that has broken through and is still continuing to move forward. So remember who you are. Remember who you are, ladies. The second point I want to bring to you, and this point right here really changed the game for me. I've already said that my background is social work. So I've worked in the community. I've worked in the trenches. I've also had private practice. So I've worked in all kinds of places where people were hurting and in need of help. And needless to say that sometimes those of us who are in the helping profession, we can be the most overburdened. And that's because very often we are trying to do way too much. And so this second principle really changed things for me. The principle is focus on who wants you, not just who needs you. Let me say that again. Focus your time and your attention and your energy on those who want you, not just who needs you. So the truth is, there are a whole lot of people who need the gift of you. There are a whole lot of people who need what you have to offer the world. And it took me a while to realize that everything isn't for everybody, because I would meet people and I would listen to women talk, and I listened to them talk about various relationships, and you could hear the cycling that was going on in their life where they're repeating the same thing over and over again. And I would say, ooh, I would love to work with that person. Oh, that person needs me. Or I would get referrals from other people who had worked with me and they say, oh, that person needs you. That's not the question. The question is, do they want you? Everybody isn't ready for transformation. One of my really good friends, she said to me one time, because I was totally in overwhelm, bumping my head up against the brick wall because I was trying to help everybody, and I was getting frustrated because people weren't picking up what I was putting down. And what the sister said to me, she said, Melissa, you act like everybody wants to be changed. And I said, they don't? And she was like, no, they don't. There are some people that are content right where they are. And it made so much sense, but I had been operating like what I have is for everyone. What you have inside of you, the gift of you, is for the ready woman. It's for people who are ready. We have all heard the quote, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, which gives us the impression that every student isn't ready. And so just because you want to teach doesn't mean everybody wants to learn. And so you will save yourself a whole lot of time and a whole lot of heartache and frustration if you would focus your time and attention on who wants you, who respects you, and who values you, as opposed to just who needs you. And so there's so much that I could say with that, especially since so many of you guys are entrepreneurs. And there's so much that can happen. There's so many things that we do sometimes to devalue ourselves, that we don't take ourselves seriously because we're dealing with people who don't take us seriously. And whatever you're spending your time and energy doing comes back to you in an expanded way. And so if you are constantly feeling frustrated in your gift and you're constantly feeling like, but I'm working hard, I'm doing everything that I know to do, I'm trying to change the world, maybe you're focused on who needs you and not who really wants you. And so your job is not to change everyone. Your job, your assignment is to change those that you have been called to. Your job is to ready yourself so that people who are ready to be taught have a place to come and learn. And so stop wasting time, stop spinning your wheels, trying to go to people who need you because you know, there's a part of us sometimes that wants to be a martyr. Hello, where there's a part of us that just wants to save everyone. But really, you have not been called to everyone, but you have been called for some. And there are some women who are ready for you. They are waiting for you. They have been primed and prepped for you. They may not have been ready 2 years ago, but they're ready now. We got to keep in mind that one plants, another waters, and then it's God who gives increase. And so sometimes we can plant and we're steadily trying to get things to grow in places that you were only assigned to plant a seed. You plant your seed. Be faithful to the things and the people that you have been called to. And life will be so much easier, and you will value your gift and not resent it. Because when people don't appreciate you, and that happens repetitively over and over again, you will get to the place where you resent even the work that you've been called to do. But the work that you've been called to do, even though it requires so much of us, when you go to the people who want you, you can work all night and it would feel like ease. You can do the things that you need to do, whether it's writing, speaking, selling your products or services. And even though a little bit of hustle may be required, you won't be stressed out and burned out, but you will be happy to give the gift because you're operating in the lane that you're supposed to be operating in. So go with those who want you, not just those who need you. Now, the third point I want to give you is this. Know that your value isn't in the wrapping, but the real gift is within you. And in this world where so much is celebrated in terms of how much you have and how fast you got it and what it looks like on the outside, can I just remind you that we are in a season where people are looking for the real deal. People are looking for the real thing, which means you got to be a person of substance, not just have the pretty picture, the pretty websites, the all of the marketing with the bells and the whistles, because all of that sometimes can be wrapping. Focus your energy, invest your time on developing what's within you. And so I know that it is so tempting to look across the aisle and see what the other sister is doing. But guess what? Comparison always kills creativity. So as you're looking at that person and you're looking over here at the other person and you're wondering whether or not you're good enough, or maybe you need to, put more money into this. And I'm not saying that marketing isn't valuable and presentation doesn't matter, but that's not everything. The main thing is you. What do people get when they get you? We know what people get when they get your website, when they get your product. But what do people get? The thing that makes people come back, the thing that makes a person a repeat customer, a member of a community, wanting to be part of your sisterhood or your tribe, the reason why they want to stay connected is because of you. And so you owe it to yourself, as much as we put attention to the outer, that you got to put the same, if not even more energy into your inner. My sisters, what is your inner game? How are you investing in yourself to do your inner work? Because we've already talked about that very often we are dismembered by life. And if you never take the time to sit down and reflect on your journey and where you've been and what you've gone through and what part of your life needs time and attention, then you can continue to put out products, but it's missing the magic of you. And so I want to encourage you. I want to remind you that you are your best thing. You are your best asset. And again, as much as we want to look pretty on the outside, what people are wanting more than anything is an authentic, real experience on the inside. And that's something that can't be fabricated. It's either there or it's not there. And so I want to encourage you to up your inner game. Do your inner work. Do the things that you need to do so that you feel proud of you, so that your value and your worth is not determined by how many sales you made this week or this month, that your value and your worth is in you. And you know that value, and you can stand by that value, and you can feel good about that because you know that underneath all of this, there's something real, there's something of substance. So those 3 points again: remember who you are, that you are God's beloved. You are a daughter of God. You're not what you do. You're not what you've been through. You're not your circumstances, but you are God's big idea for the world. And number 2, go for who wants you, not just who needs you. Don't waste time and energy trying to save the world. You haven't been called to save the world. You've been called to save a few. And so do the work that you are called to do in the lane that you are in, so that your gifts will be honored and valued, and you will feel an even exchange and feel good about yourself and not resent the things that you do. And number 3, know that your value isn't in the wrapping. The gift is in you. You don't want to be one of those people. You're not a baby, so you don't want to be one of those people who's sitting around playing with the box. And you don't want other people to play with the box. You want people to get the real gift that is you. And like I said, finally, I want you to think about this as we just, kind of sum up this conversation, this soul talk, this soul conversation that I'm having with you. I want you to think about how different your life could be if you were to be the full version of you. I want you to think about how different the world could be if you were to totally unwrap and do you fully, unapologetically, not holding anything back, not looking to the left or to the right, comparing yourself. But if you were to fully unwrap the gift and be fully present in the world, how different could your life be? What difference could you make in the life of another sister? What could you do? What could the world turn into if you showed up for you and didn't leave yourself sitting on the shelf because you think you're not enough? You think there's something else you need to do. You are ready for right now. And so I want to just encourage you to unwrap the fullness of you, to recognize that you are the gift. You are your best thing. You are the biggest asset. You are what the world needs right now. And so be you, do you, stand out, step up, and just step fully into you, because you are the gift. Thank you all so much for listening. I'm Melissa Brown, the Soul Love Coach, and I want you to live a life that makes your soul say yes and amen. Bye-bye.